Hikin Jim here. Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Stoving. So, doing a little wind contest here. On the left is the MSR Pocket Rocket 2. On the right is the Primus Eta Express. The Primus is interesting in that it has a little windscreen there. You can see that clips on. The pots are identical. So the thing that you see that says Primus Eta Express on it, that's actually a windscreen. Kind of odd little windscreen. It's got magnets that holds it to the stove. So anyway, MSR is slightly faster in tests where there's no wind. But today there's a little bit of wind, not a lot. So I want to see, is this windscreen worth anything? So the wind's coming from our backs, going towards the pots from behind me. And so I want to see what's it going to do? Who's going to come out on top? If the Primus really pulls out ahead, or maybe slightly ahead, then there's some advantage. How much advantage is going to be determined by, of course, how much it pulls out ahead. If the MSR continues to beat the Primus, the MSR is just a little bit faster stove. If the MSR continues to beat the Primus, then I have to say that windscreen's really not that effective, and we'll talk about why. Anyway, it's a nice system overall, the Primus Eta Express system. It comes with a heat exchanger pot. Now, I'm not using the heat exchanger pot for obvious reasons. I hope it's obvious, because I want to do apples-to-apples comparisons. So I'm using identical pots with identical amounts of water, identical gas tanks. And I'm just seeing as one stove have an advantage over the other through the use of the windscreen. Comes with this nice bowl that nests inside. It's a pretty nice system. Good durable guard on the heat exchanger. Nice pattern to the heat exchanger. Nice siliconized handles, you know. So it's a nice system. You get a good grip on it. Anyway, I like the system in general. The stove could be a little more compact, but you know, it's pretty good. The arms have a really nice wide up. Boy, I see them both giving out a little steam there, and they're not quite all the way to a full boil. And you know, I run test after test, and I just am not seeing, they just about simultaneously boiled, and they're not super boiling yet. There goes the MSR, really kicking off. Okay, so he's definitely rolling. Primus is probably right there too. But you know, I'm just not seeing that big of an advantage to this this windscreen here. I'm going to crank them off. Okay, so why doesn't the Primus windscreen really do that much, even though I can see the wind coming in from behind me, so it should provide some blockage? Well, the way they designed it, I'm going to use my knife to pull it off here because it's held on by magnets, and it's going to be pretty hot. So here's the deal. It's got a big old hole in it. So, you know, that hole is right where see where the stove is there. The wind comes right through there and hits the flame. So what kind of design is that? I guess they're paranoid about, you know, somebody's going to overheat a canister and the canister's going to blow up. I don't think they should be worried about it, because look at it. It's not like it covers the whole you know, periphery of the stove. It's not a 360 degree coverage. It's maybe, you know, maybe covers 1/3 of the stove. It's less than 180 degrees. Okay, so I think that they're worried about something that they shouldn't be worried about, and they ought to be worried about making a windscreen that works, because honestly, I just don't see much advantage to this thing. It's a nice system. I like the pot. I like the way that it integrates with the stove. The stove's a decent stove. The piezo, the piezo is so-so. I'll give it a so-so, and that's being generous. It's just a standard piezo. It's a piece of wire that sticks out of the stove, and nothing special there. If you really want a nice piezo, well, Soto's making the best piezos, but it's okay if you like piezo. It's a good piezo, and I mean, it's as good as most of them. So that's fine, but nothing spectacular there. But overall, I like the system because it's a nice integrated system, and you can put any pot on, just like I have here. You can put on any pot. You don't have to be restricted to their special pot, although that's a good pot, a good general purpose pot. But you can put any pot on, and there's no like pieces that you have to put in place. There's no extra unit that you have to put on like a jet boil. There's not like on the Primus has something that's shaped like a jet boil. When you put an alternative pot on, you have to put these screws and thread them in there, and That's kind of a hassle. This one, you just, put it right on. So anyway, it's a nice system overall. The pot supports don't fold up quite as nice as on the some other stoves, like say this Pocket Rocket 2 here, which is also a very nice stove. So I like the system overall, but they can improve maybe how compact it is. They can improve the piezo, but there's no major failing there. But this is like, come on, man. So what I would do if I were you, I wouldn't say, hey, this is not a do not buy recommendation. That's not what this is. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm just saying don't expect too much from this windscreen. And if I were you, I would probably take maybe doubled up aluminum foil or some, something, and maybe put some heat-resistant tape and tape a piece of something over that, because there's absolutely no reason you need that big gap there. And I think it's lawyer paranoia or something, because something that has this much opening around it, it's not a full 360-degree coverage. There's no reason that you got to be worried about overheating the stove. So this is just silly, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm Hikin Jim, and this has been another episode of Adventures in Stoving. Thanks for joining me.